special thank you to all of my channel members: Rainy, Easterly, Andrew, Peacock, Box, Float, Andreas Anderson, Vince Tremblay, 1, 2, 3, 4, Luke Wenzel, Riley Bergen, Isaiah Robeson, Josh Cameron, Kian Noble Bowles, James Sucks, Mr. Sean D. Fitz, Evan Foot, Rhea and Micah Carter. Micah Carter. I think. Let me double check. Okay, so we actually have a few that have been here for 1 year. I see. But he's been like continuous. Okay. But thank you to each and every one of you, my channel members. You make this all happen. Could not do it without your support. My apologies if I sound a little bit off this video. My throat's been a little bit scratchy. That's why I did not record this yesterday. But I didn't want to leave it much longer than this. But the NBA Finals have come and gone, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are your 2024-2025 NBA season champions. And I shared the opinion of many people that I've seen online that I think this Oklahoma City Thunder team is just getting started. This is a really young team. All of their best players are like under 25, 26. Because SGA would be their oldest player, right? That's their big ones. How old is SGA? He's 26, so their oldest like core player is 26. And I think, something like a Golden State Warriors situation, I think is very unlikely to ever happen again in my lifetime. But I can definitely see this team over the next 5 years getting another 2 rings. I think this period, before SGA turns 30 or so, 31, I think they'll probably get around 3 rings total if everything goes right. Young core, they're all together. I don't think they're going to have any issues keeping this team together. It'll be interesting to see going forward. But for me, as a neutral party here, I'm neither a fan of the Pacers nor the Thunder. Overall, I thought this was a pretty exciting NBA Finals, and I do like that. As a fan of a small market team myself, as a fan of a team that is not historically successful, seeing these 2 small market teams meet up in the finals. You saw these people talking about ratings and whatever else, but I couldn't care less. These 2 teams, that whoever would have won, it would have been a first for them, a huge thing for their fans. I think that's really good for the sport. And it shows the level of parity that the new collective bargaining agreement has brought to the league, which I think is a good thing. Having these small market franchises, and that, it's just a good thing in my opinion. Now I know it is my sort of cliche toxic behavior to talk more about the negatives in the losing team than it is to talk about the winning team. I do it in all my videos. I don't mean to. I suppose it's just easier for me to identify the negatives than the positives. So I'll be talking a lot about the Pacers here. Now, the obvious thing for the Pacers is that Tyrese Haliburton gets injured. The first first half of this Game 7. Now, he had been playing through a calf strain for a little bit. I don't know if he got the calf strain. Game 2, Game 3, something like that. I don't remember exactly. But, he plays with a calf injury and he ends up getting an Achilles tear. Now, notably, that is the third such instance of that happening in this year's playoffs. It happened to Damian Lillard, and it happened to Jason Tatum as well. Both guys had a calf strain. They played through a calf strain, and they end up tearing their Achilles. And now all of those guys, Tatum, Dame, and now Halliburton, will likely miss all of next season. So for the Indiana Pacers, not only do you lose this finals, you're not going to make the finals next season without Tyrese Halliburton. You'll be a playoff team most likely, which means you lose a year off all those players' contracts. You lose a year of team control on your younger guys on cheap deals. You lose a year, if you have players in their prime, a guy like Pascal Siakam at his age. In 2 years, Pascal Siakam might not be as good as he'll be next year, so he'll regress. Other guys might regress. So the loss is more than just a loss. It's potentially a complete closing of your competitive window. Whereas if he rests that calf injury, he plays next season, maybe they're right back here playing in the finals again to get another bite at the apple. But an injury like this is potentially a complete derailment. And I think with this happening 3 times this playoffs, I have a feeling that the NBA might implement some sort of rule change or policy change where any player who has a calf strain is forbidden from playing through it. Like, they might have to step in and override these guys, because if you think about it, you think about it from a business perspective, not just the basketball perspective. Those are 3 like A-list marquee players who sell a lot of jerseys, they move a lot of merch, they sell a lot of tickets, they put butts in seats, they sell NBA League Pass subscriptions. And now those guys aren't going to be playing next season, especially guys like Tatum and Halliburton, who are young faces of the league. Them not playing next season will have a noticeable financial impact for the NBA. So even if you want to be cynical about it and not make it about these guys' health, I just have a feeling that there's gonna be some sort of rule change or something when it comes to calf injuries or leg injuries. But really, for the Pacers, this comes back to that Game 4 loss, because if they didn't choke that Game 4, then this Game 7 would never even happened. Halliburton would never got injured, because they had a lead going into that 4th quarter in Game 4. But they completely choked that. They gave up 31 points to the Thunder in that Game 4. Thunder come back and win that game. I think it was like a less than a 10-point win for OKC. I don't remember exactly, but it was maybe like 7 points, 9 points, something like that. And I remember after that game, Charles Barkley said, like, this game is going to come back and haunt the Pacers, and yes, we see quite clearly that it did. What else do I want to talk about? Pascal Siakam in this Game 7. Now, he ended up playing 37 minutes overall, but it felt like he got a bulk of those minutes in the 4th quarter. Like, I felt like he was sitting on the bench a lot, and it felt like he could never really get into a rhythm. He only had 16 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, and I felt like Naismith and Turner also really underperformed. Turner especially dropped the ball in Game 7, but Benedict Mathurin was guy like Mathurin is probably going to step up even more next season in Halliburton's absence. And then, who knows? I don't know what his contract situation is. I'm not going to check, but I'm assuming he's still on a rookie deal. But if he earns himself a bag, it's going to be harder to build around when Halliburton comes back. One thing I really like about watching the Thunder is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still shoots a lot of mid-range jump shots. He takes pull-up elbow jumpers, like all that sort of stuff. And he'll dribble, get to 15 feet, pull-up shooter. I looked it up, and he had the second most made 2-point shots in the entire NBA this season, behind only DeMar DeRozan. And DeMar DeRozan's like a 2-point specialist. Because being a Blazers fan, we used to have CJ McCollum on the team. He's a guy that would always go into those 2-point shots. And nowadays we have such an analytics-driven league. It's all either 3-pointers or attacking the rim, trying to get that free throw to bring it to 3 points regardless. So seeing somebody pull up at the mid-range, those are still personally my favorite types of shots. I've said many times my favorite player of all time is Carmelo Anthony. And the reason Carmelo Anthony is my favorite player of all time is because of that pull-up, pure, beautiful offense, 2-point shooting game. I think he did that better than just about anybody. So seeing guys like CJ, SGA, DeMar, I'm always a big fan of guards pulling up into those mid-range shooters. It's whenever I do my player in 2K, I'm always like a 2-point assassin. Okay. I had 2 other notes I want to make. First and foremost, I feel like Indiana was really good with their ball security early. I feel like the first 3, maybe first 4 games, they weren't really committing that many turnovers, even though the Thunder are a team that forces teams into committing turnovers. But then as they got into those later games, 5, 6, 7, especially game 7, I didn't look at the stats to this, but just the eye test, it really seemed like in game 7 they were turning the ball over a lot. Or if it wasn't a lot, it was just at least like worse turnovers at less opportune times, that sort of thing, because it felt noticeably worse in game 7. And the other thing was interesting to me is, and some of this is being informed by conversations I had with my coworkers and stuff, but it feels like the NBA is actually getting quite popular here in Australia, at least where I live here in Western Sydney, Australia. My local tavern has these 2 giant video walls outside. Now my local tavern is great. I go there like a couple times a month. It's really good. They have like $5 beers, $15 specials, all that stuff, like schnitzels, burgers for $10 with chips and all that. So I go there all the time anyway. But they were showing the NBA Finals there, and there were big crowds of guys. I would say like late high school to like college age guys, that like sort of 19 to 24, 25 age range of guys, that key demographic. And they were really into it. They were all wearing jerseys. And they were all like cheering, and they were getting really into the game because I know I saw some Super Bowl watch parties here, and people were watching the Super Bowl, but they seemed to almost be treating it more like a social gathering. They were there to eat and drink with their friends and hang out, and the game was sort of just background noise. And I never saw anybody really reacting to big moments in the games. Like 1 or 2 people here and there would, but nothing really crazy. But this game, you had people standing up cheering, like talking shit to the TV, like kind of pacing back and forth. Like they were, probably 60, 70 guys, and they were all really, really into it. this season. But it definitely feels like there is a market here for basketball, and I really hope the NBA sees that somehow. And if they have some exhibition games down here in Sydney, I would go with the drop of a hat. I don't care who's playing. But anyway, guys, a bit of a shorter one here. I just didn't have too much to say about this overall. Like I said, as a neutral, I thought these were very enjoyable final series overall, outside of the second half of Game 7. As soon as Halliburton went down, you knew it was over, but outside of that, there was only really like one blowout this whole series. Game 1 was amazing to watch. It was so back and forth. Game 5, Game 6, those were both good games to watch. But, outside of that Game 2 blowout, overall, a really enjoyable series. And, of course, the Game 7 second half. But, anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. To any of my viewers who are Oklahoma City Thunder fans, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed the win. As somebody who just recently got to watch one of their teams win a championship, 2023 Vegas Golden Knights, I know that feeling of elation, so enjoy it. Hold on to it. And if you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single